Good evening, Dr. Downey. My name is Robert Rao. I am a post-baccalaureate student studying mechanical engineering at the University of Houston. I just want to say thank you for a great 4 weeks. It's been busy and hectic, but you've done a great job of guiding us through these assignments. This is my presentation on sustainable construction materials, and I encourage you to check out my recommendation report if you get the chance, if you're interested in recycling concrete or 3D printing material. All right, let's get into it. So basically the main problem that I discussed was recycling concrete versus 3D printing. Like, which would be the better use of material, which is like the better process, which is, you know, the more cost-effective thing in being sustainable in construction. The reason I chose this topic was because I really love the idea of going into construction upon graduation, and I've also, in my own personal life, have been taking strides in trying to be more sustainable. So I think it'd be cool to bring some of these sustainable practices into the workforce, if I get the job after graduation. And it was also just a particularly interesting topic to discuss. And I like my friend here. All right, so the first topic we are going to talk about is recycling concrete. So the process is as follows. It is taking an old material that exists in the world. It is like not an old material, old concrete, and breaking it down using some really heavy and expensive technology, and then sorting it into its rawest form and trying to get as much impurity out that concrete can have, and then making something new from that raw material. So one of the pros of using this process is you use these old materials, and that's just sitting in landfills or is being stripped from buildings, and is taken from the building or from the landfill and taken straight into this process, and this creates something new. The other thing is it prevents it from ever going to the landfill, and which is great because our landfills are overflowing, and it is creating a serious issue and a global climate issue that needs to be addressed in many different ways. Some of the cons with recycling concrete is that it does require some really expensive and really heavy equipment, because the equipment, you have to crush it down. Like, the concrete is a really dense and durable substance, and not just anything can destroy it, so to speak. And then, as well as using that equipment also requires a heavy amount of energy and time, which not everybody and not every construction company has to offer. So, obviously, while it's good for the environment, it is also very costly in other respects. So that's just something to think about. Here I have included a figure of the construction process, and it's pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not really going to discuss it too much, but it's pretty interesting if you're interested in this particular topic. As well as I also included this this list of different materials and different amounts of materials that are being used to make these different concretes. These different concretes are used for different things, like sidewalks or roads, or the side of a wall, or or like a parking garage or something. There's different concretes for different durabilities and densities. All right, now we're going to discuss 3D printing. 3D printing is like taking it is the process of taking a computer-generated diagram and sending it to a printer for it to literally print, like 3D print something into like an actual object that you can pick up and move around. So using 3D printing as a building, you can print walls, you can print a foundation. It's a massive ordeal and massive process to use. I looked at a few different reports and articles about 3D printing buildings, and one of them discussed them printing basically a building the size of like a Starbucks or a McDonald's or something like that. And they were able to print that building. I have the dimensions here. It was 6 meters tall, 36 meters long, and 12 meters wide, which is, I don't know if you know the metric system, but it's about the size of like like I said earlier, like a McDonald's or a Starbucks or something. And they were able to print all those materials to assemble that building in 17 days and then assemble that into a fully functional building in 3 months. So that leads right into one of my pros, that it is it saves a ton of time and it saves a lot of manpower. These printers are able to do this all you have to do is send the plan or the document to this printer and it just goes about it. As long as it has the material in the feeder, in the printer itself, then it is able to make the materials without any human intervention. So that's a significant step forward than our previous processes. But some of the cons, that it's only really good for mass producing these buildings, and buildings of the same size. It's pretty difficult to make these plans and make them as unique as some construction companies or some people that want these buildings to look unique and make them stand out. And the 3D printers aren't able to do some of the more specific requests that construction companies may have, or the people that are hiring these construction companies may have. And also the technology isn't fully realized yet. It's still in development. They're still making massive strides in the technology to make it better and to improve it and optimize it. And I mean, I think probably in the next decade we'll be in a much better place for 3D printing to be available to the general public, for the general construction company, the average construction company to use. So that's kind of where we are with the 3D printing. It's a revolutionary technology and could be a huge step in the construction industry, but it's not quite ready yet. And that's why I chose my recommendation for this particular subject to be the recycled concrete, because we get to use the material that we already have. We reduce the waste in landfills and stuff going to landfills. Yes, it is a huge time expense as well as energy expense, and it requires some very specific and heavy machinery that not every recycling center may have. But to me, it is worth the effort to do, because it reduces the waste, and it will hopefully reduce our carbon footprint. All right, so that's all I have for today. Dr. Downey, my name is Robert Rao once again. Here's a list of my references. I said here that you can find most of the information I stated in my report, so I encourage you to check that out, as well as the 2 images that I pulled from the internet, and this is where my YouTube link will go. Hope you have a great day. Thank you again. Bye-bye.